Dear participants, welcome you all in this course Systematics of Angiosperm. And previously we have studied about the different families of polypetally. Now we will going to start the gamopetally. And in gamopetally we will going to study about the family Asteraceae, which is previously known as a compositae, and the earlier name is compositae. So just because of the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, now its name changes to the Asteraceae, because this, as you know, you have already studied the by the International Code of Botanical Nature that the family name ends with the AC. So that's why the name of this particular family now changed to from composite to Asteraceae. So if you see the systematic position, earlier we have studied about the polypetally in which petals are free, and in gamopetally the petals are fused. So this gamopetally is divided into three group series: inferi, heteromeri and bicarpellate. Inferi, as the name indicates, are groups of plants that have inferior ovary. Then heteromeri, they have a group of plants that have a carpels between the 3 to 5. Here the carpels are 2, but they are inferior. In bicarpellity, the carpels are gynoecium is 2, monocarpellary but superior. So here the carpels are inferior, here the carpels are superior, and here the number of carpels vary in between the 3 to 5. So although we have to study the inferi, we don't have any representative family from the heteromeri, then we will study about the bicarpellative. So starting with the series inferi, now we will going to study about the order Astrales. As we are going to study about the family Asteraceae in the order Astrales. And if you see the systematic position, as I have told you, according to Bentham, this family is placed in dicotyledony. The subclass is gamopetally, that means the petals are fused, and the series is inferior, that means the ovary is inferior, the order is Astrales, and the family is Asteraceae. So this is by the Bentham system of classification. And if we see the distribution of this particular family, the family Asteraceae includes around 950 genera and around 20,000 species. So this one is the, you can say, largest family of the dicots. You can see a number of plants that belong to this particular group. So this family comprises about 10% of the total number of the flowering plants, because we know the flowering plant are around 2 lakh species, and here you can see around 20,000 species are just reported in this particular family. So this is around comprises 10% of the total number of flowering plants that belong to this particular family. And in India, it's also represented by a good number of species, that is around 697 species, or you can say around 700 species is reported from the India. And they can live in all types of localities such as desert, they can live in all type of localities such as desert, Arctic region and aquatics. That's why you can say that due to their diverse habitats, they have a very good number of representation, because they can have adaptability to adapt in the different types of a habitat condition. So that making the plant, this group is very large in number because of their adaptability. So if we see the vegetative characters of the family Asteraceae, generally the plants are herbaceous and annual. Sometimes they may be shrubs. And the plant contain a milky or whitey resinous sap in their body. And the outer surface of these plants covered with the different types of hairs. So they have a trichome hair in the all over in their body. And root are the generally they have a taproot root system because it is a dicotyledonous plant. And if you see the stem is herbaceous, woody if the plant is shrub, and erect it is tuberous in case of a Helianthus tuberosus, and maybe leaf like in case of a Baccharis. So these plants generally have a herbaceous and woody stem. And if you see the leaves are usually alternate, simple and petiolate with exstipulate. And the some species, the leaves are also opposite as in case of Helianthus, or whorler in case of a eupatorium. So generally they are alternate, but they may be opposite or whorl arrangement. They show, sorry, it is a whorl arrangement. Then sometimes the leaves may be pinnately or palmately lobed and the leaf surface is covered with the hair. Because all the plant bodies of this particular group is covered with the hairs and the leaf margin may be entire or sometimes may be serrate. And if you see the floral characters of this particular family, one of the most important thing that is the inflorescence. Inflorescence in this particular group is the either racemose or capitulum. Capitulum, which is also called as a head, it is a special type of inflorescence. It just consists of a disc floret in the center and surrounded by a number of ray floret and involucral bract. So these floret arranged in a centripetal manner. The extended base of the capitulum is called as the receptacle. As you can see, this is the receptacle and these are the, in the center you will see this is the disc floret and these are the ray floret, which is also called as the ligule or ray floret or ligulate flowers. So the most important thing of this particular family is the inflorescence that is called as the capitulum or head, and it is also have a bract. These are the phalanges, and they have a two types of flower, disc floret at center and the ray floret at the generally at the outer side. But sometimes the flower may have only one type of flower, that is only ray flower, and sometimes they only have a disc type of a flower. So they maybe have a mixed type of both the flower. They may have sometimes only ray flower, sometimes they may have only this type of a flower. So if you see the flower are generally bisexual or unisexual, polygamous, and rarely they are neuter. And usually pentamerous, that means they have all the plant part in the multiples of 5. They are bracteate, sessile, and epigynous. Because ovary is inferior, that's why there are two types of flower, namely disc or ray floret. So depending upon the different species of their groups, they may have a mixed, they both ray and disc floret, or they may have only disc floret, or they may have only ray floret. So if you see that these two types of flower, the first one is the ray and the second is the disc floret. Ray floret generally present at the periphery and they have a corolla which is shape is ligule like. As you can see, this is the corolla which is shape is ligule. That's why this flower is also called as the ligulate flower. Here you can see this is the ovary, mature ovary, which is called as achene. This is the perigynous ovary and sorry, this one is the epigynous ovary, that means that giving the inferior ovary. And you can see here these are the calyx. Calyx is modified into a hairy structure, that's why it is called as the pappus. And corolla, you can see this is the have a ligule shape, that what is called as the ligulate. And here you can see anthers are united and forming the syngenaceous condition. And the style you can see here is biped. So ray floret generally present at the periphery and the disc floret they also have a same. They have an inferior ovary. They have a calyx that modify into the pappus. That hairy structure, the corolla. The next difference between the ray floret and disc floret is that here corolla is ligule shape, while here the corolla is tubular. So this is also called as the tubular flower. This is called as the ligulate and this is called as the tubular flower just due to the shape of the corolla. And here you can see the anthers and this is the style which is biped. These are the two types of a flower which present in the Asteraceae family. So you can see here this is the inferior ovary pappus. These are the two types of flower. So if you start with the disc flower, as I have told you, disc flower occupy the center of the capitulum in general, but sometimes the flower is only composed of the disc flower. So this type of flowers are bracteate, sessile, bisexual, regular, actinomorphic and epigynous. As you can see, the ovary is at inferior position. And if you see the calyx is usually represented by the pappus, that is the hairy structure that covering the like this type of a structure that is called as the pappus. it is reduced and highly modified calyx. And in some cases, the calyx is represented by only a spiny structure. Then if you see the corolla in this case are tubular. You can see here this is the disc where the corolla become tubular. That's why these flowers are also called as the tubular flower, and it consists of a 5 united petals. That's why this family is placed with occur in the gametophyte because all the corollas are united and the institution of this corolla is valvate. And the corolla tube is swollen near the base as you can see here in this picture. Then androecium. The androecium consists of 5 epipetalous stamens, and the stamens are alternate to petals. And the one of the most important thing of this particular family is this called as the syngenesious condition. What is the syngenesious condition? When you can see the anthers, only anthers are fused with each other and the filaments are free as you can see. So these anthers are fused together and this condition is called as the syngenesious condition. And generally, if you see the anthers are diathecous in toes and dies by the longitudinal cyst. So one of the characteristics of this particular family is the presence of a capitulum. The next is the presence of a syngenesious stamens. Then the gynoecium is bicarpellary, syncarpous and inferior with unilocular. And there is a single anatropous ovule at the locule and have a basal presentation. And the style is slender and the two stigma with the various form. You can see there is a biped stigma is present. So this is all about the disc floret which have a tubular shape in structure, and you can easily identify generally they have a occupy the central position in the flower. And the next one is the ray floret. Ray floret occupy the generally periphery of the capitulum and they are also bracteate, sessile, irregular, while the disc floret have a actinomorphic symmetry. They have a irregular and have a zygomorphic symmetry. They are ligulate and also epigynous. So just because of their shape of the corolla, these ray floret become the zygomorphic. The calyx is also same like pappus-like or sometimes maybe upside in case of a ray floret. Corolla is here. You can see corolla is ligulate. That's why this flower is also called as the ligulate flower, or they may be bilabiate that is made up of the 3 upper lobe and 2 lower lobe, and it may be consist of a 5 fused petals and the institution is valvate. So you can see this is the bilabiate corolla. Then androecium is homogeneous. It is homogeneous head. The ray flower are bisexual, so they have a 5. They also have a syngenesious stamens. And heterogamous head, the ray flower are usually pistillate or neutral. So as I have told you, the head may be have a homogeneous head. The ray flower are in this homogeneous in which only they have only single type of flower. So in which the ray floret is uh, bisexual. While in the case of a heterogamous head, the ray flower are usually pistillate. They don't have a stamens altogether absent in this particular group. Like in case of a sunflower, they don't have a androecium. They only have a either neutral flower or they have only pistillate flowers. And if you see the gynoecium is made up of all of bicarpellary, syncarpous and inferior ovary with single ovules, and the style become bilobed and stigma is variable. And the fruit of this group is called as the cypsela, and the seeds are dicotyledonate X-albuminous seeds, and the fruit is also maybe called as achene. If you see the common plants of this particular family, the most common one you have seen that is the Helianthus, which is Suryakanthi or Surajmukhi plant, as you can see in this particular image. Then the next one is the Eclipta prostrata, that is one of the major common plants. Then is Tradix procumbens, that is you can see this is the wild plant that is growing in the regions in most of the part of the country. Then Tigus erecta, that is also called as a Genda or Seventy. Then Calendula officinalis. Yes, you can see these are some common plants of the family Asteraceae. And one of the most common one is the Tridus procumbens, which is growing in a wild condition. And if you see the systematic position of Tridents, it is belong to the dicotyledony gam. Subclass Gamopetali. The series is Inferi, the order is Astrales and the family is Astraceae and the genus is Tridents and the species is Procumbens. This was the most common wild plant of the Astraceae family and just showing the all the characteristics of the family. Astraceae, like you can see, it has a inflorescence that is head or capitulum. You can see the leaves are simple ovate with serrate margins. They have a generally alternate arrangement. Then flowers are two type refloret and disfloret. Refloret is bracteate, zygomorphic, unisexual, and calyx is pappus-like. Corolla is 3 to 4 and estivation is gamopetalous. Then disfloret, which is bracteate, actinomorphic, and bisexual with inferior ovary. Calyx is pappus-like. Corolla is made up of 5 gamopetalous with valvous estivation. And Angiosperm showing the syngenous stamens. As you can see, the anthers are fused. Then Ganoecium is bicarpellary, syncarpus, unilocular with basal presentation and stylis, cylinder and branch and with inferior ovary, and the fruit is sepsella. So you can easily identify this group of plant by the presence of head inflorescence and the presence of this syngenous type of stamens. So this is the a twig of Tridex. This is the LS of the head. You can see these are the ligulate flower and the center you will find the disc fruit. This one is the single disc fruit. You can see there is a stamen that is showing the syngenesis condition. Here you can see the calyx that modify into the pappus. This one is the ray floret. You can see it is either made up of 3 or 4 corolla. Then you can see that the ovary is inferior in position. Here you can see syngenesis condition. And if you see the tears of this pen showing the basal presentation, and this is made up of a bicarpellary syncarpus with inferior ovary. So you can see here the calyx which is modified into the hair, that is pappus, and here you can see this is the ligulate flower which is made up of either 3 to 5 corolla which are have an unequal shape. Then you can see this one is the disfloret which have a calyx modified into the pappus which has the bisexual flower. This one is the corolla which is tubular, that is showing the zygomorphic symmetry. Then 5 Angiosperm which are anthers are united, and the center, this is the tears of ovary, they are showing the basal presentation. So if you see the floral formula of this particular plant, that is the bracteate, ebracteate, which showing the zygomorphic symmetry. In case of a ray floret, they are having only female flower. Calyx is infinite because they modify into the pappus. Corolla is 5 in number, and Angiosperm is 0, and Ganoecium is made up of bicarpellary syncarpus with inferior ovary. While disc floret also bracteate, ebracteate, they are actinomorphic, bisexual. Calyx is also infinite, modified to the pappus. Corolla is 5 in number, and Angiosperm is 5, and the Ganoecium is also bicarpellary syncarpus with inferior ovary. So if you see the economic importance of this particular family, Astraceae, most of the the major economic importance plant of this particular plant, that is the oil yielding plant. Many plants give the oil seed streaks, right? And the oil is used for cooking, burning, and soap making, varnish preparation, and as a lubricant. And the most common one is the example like Helianthus anus. Have all may have eaten the sunflower oil. So the most common one is the Helianthus anus. Then Carthamus tinctorius, which is flower yields the oil. Then Gizotia vescana, which seeds also yield the oil. Then many plants of this family also yield a dye. Like Catharanthus tinctorius give a red dye color, that is the safflower. Then Tigritus give the yellow dye for the coloring cotton. Then some group of the plant are also used as a food, like leaves of circorium, which is used in the salads. Then root powder of those plants is substitute for the coffee or often mixed with the coffee. Then leaves of the lactuca sativa, that is the lettuce or salad patta, which is used in the salad. Then some plant is also used as a medicine, like whole plant extract of Artemisia arbusum is given for the fever and inflammation of the liver. Then Artemisia vulgaris is used for the roundworm femur, asthma, and nervous disorder. There are some importance of the family Asteraceae, and beside this particular family yield a number of ornamental plants. Like this one is the Tigritis erecta, that is Genda, that is Helianthus, and that is the sunflower, then Calendula, then Parthenium hysteroporus. So this particular family produces a number of ornamental plants that is growing especially in the winter, so that they give a beautiful flowers during the this period. So this is all about the Asteraceae family, and you can easily identify this family just because of the presence of the head or capitulum inflorescence. This one is the one of the major characteristic of this particular family, that is the head or capitulum inflorescence, and the second is the syngenesis condition of the anther. So hopefully you can identify this particular group of plant easily by just seeing the its inflorescence, and if you have a doubt you can just check it, cross check it by the presence of a syngenesis condition in the anther. So that's all for today's session. Thank you all of you for joining me. Dear participants, welcome you all in this course Aesthetics of Angiosperms. Now we will go into study the family, that is the Amaranthaceae, or you may have seen this particular plant that is also called as the amaranth. So this particular family is have a many wild plants, as well as we are also consuming many of the plant as a vegetable. So starting from the its systematic position, and according to Bentham, this particular family is placed in a dicotyledony. As we know, dicotyledony are the group of plants that have a reticulate venation, and the flowers of this particular groups are either tetra or pentamerous, that present in either multiples of 4 and 5. So you can easily identify a dicot plant just because of the presence of a reticulate venation and the presence of a flower as a tetra or pentamerous. Then in dicotyledon, this particular family is belong to the subclass Monoclamidae. Monoclamidae, that means they have a variant, they are arranged in either one or two buds. So in Monoclamidae, as you know, the benthomonocle plays, you have already studied the benthomonocle system of classification. Monoclamidae are the group of those plants that don't have a distinction of the calyx and corolla, and they are termed as a parent. They will be present either in the single bud or maybe in the two buds. And the unit of the parent is called as the tepals. So here the tepals is sepaloid. That means there will be, these tepals don't have any particular color generally. And the series is the curvembry. That means the usually ovary is unilocular and the mostly one, and the embryo here is curved. That's why this series is called as the curvembry. From the monocotyledony, you will study two groups of families. First, that is the amaranthids that you are going to today study, and then next you will study the Euphorbiaceae family, which belong to the unisexuals. So you can identify this group of plant. First one, that is just because of the presence of the curved embryo, and in the next Euphorbiaceae you will find the only unisexual flower is present. So today we will going to study about the Amaranthaceae family. So let's start with the first distribution of the Amaranthaceae family. And if you see the distribution of Amaranthaceae family, this family it is also called as the Amaranth family, and however you can see very cosmopolitan distribution of this particular family. And it is a small family that comprising of the 65 genera, but sorry. It is a small family that comprising of 65 genera and 850 species, which are chiefly represented in tropical and temperate regions. So you can say all the tropics and temperate have this particular groups, but their number is low. All they have a widespread distribution, you can see, and India is represented by only 50 species, that is represented by India is for this particular family. And if you see the vegetative characters of the family Amaranthaceae, they are mostly herbs. They are rarely shrubs or undershrubs like the Dilgenaria, or annual or perennial like bonsai or tylus. And the root of this particular plant generally taproot. The stems are aerial, herbaceous or woody, generally erect, strangling, cylindrical, maybe sometimes angular, branched, solid. They have also hairs, green or stripped green. Then the next that is the leaves are simple, generally have a alternate or opposite phyllotaxy, and they are petiolate, exstipulate, reddish in color sometimes, and show the unicostal reticulate venation. As you can see here in this particular figure, the leaves are showing the generally alternate arrangement here. And if you see the floral characters, the inflorescence, that is one of the characteristics of this particular family. They have a axillary or terminal spike in case of Achiranthus. You can see they have a generally terminal spike type of a inflorescence, and they are surrounded by a dry bud. And sometimes they also have a cymose panicle type of a inflorescence. And if you see the flowers are bracteate, and the bracts are very showy in nature. Their flowers are sessile or subsessile. Therefore, it is called as the spike inflorescence. Bracts, the flowers are bracteolate or bracteose, maybe two. The flowers are actinomorphic, that means they have a radial symmetry. Hermaphrodite, that means bisexual or sometimes maybe unisexual. Hypogynous, and the flowers are very small or conspicuous, green, and sometimes maybe variously colored, but in general they are green in color, as you can see in this image. So, as I have told you, this particular families belong to the monoclamidae. So, they don't have a calyx corolla distinction. That's why they are termed as the perianth. And usually, perianth have a 5 tepals. They may be free or united, and sometimes 2 or 3, as in case of a amaranthus. They are dry and membranous. They show the valvate and twisted estivation, as you can see. These are the dry bracts. Then sometimes hairy or maybe green in color. Generally, they are persistent and they have inferior. That means the ovary is superior in this particular group of plants. So you can see here the leaves are generally opposite or sometimes maybe alternate. Then flowers are very small in size. You can see they are generally they don't have a generally they have a green color. Sometimes their flowers may be color, as you can see in this particular image. So if you see the diagnostic characters, the sepals number are free and they are dry. You can see the sepals are very dry in nature. And sepals sometimes maybe also become membranous, as you can see in this particular image. So they are also made up of, sorry, sepals, or you can say the tepals, because the unit of the perianth is tepal. So these are very membranous, and these perianth are petaloid, sorry, tepaloid, that way it is called as the, in here written as a sepals. So if you see the next reproductive part, that is the stamens. Stamens are either 5 or 3, as in case of amaranthus. As you can see, there are the 5 numbers of stamens are present. They are either free or united. Staminodes sometimes present. They are generally in rows, dithecous, or sometimes maybe monothecous in case of Alternathera. And Acaranthus, the 5 tubular scale alternate with the 5 fertile stamens. So these are the androecium, and sometimes they may be united from the base. They are united with the base, that is called as the monoidal. And if you see the gynosium generally bicarpellary or sometimes maybe tricarpellary syncarpus, and made up of superior ovary with unilocular and usually one compellotropous ovule is present, and with the basal presentation. The style is very short or filiform, as you can see, and the stigma may be 2 or 3 depending upon the number of carpels in this particular groups. And if you see the root of this particular group of plant, that is the, which is the dry basidiate achene, which is mainly the fruit of this particular group of plant, and sometimes they may be seeded capsule or the several seeded berry. As you can see, the fruit of this particular group is also called as the utricle, and here you can see the dry tepals, which are the membranous dry here, and here you can see the fruit which is developed. And the seeds, they are the polystesta. Generally, they are kidney shaped, and embryo here is the cup. You can see the seeds here. And these generally mostly pollination is done by the entomophilous in this group by the plant. And if we see the floral formula, generally they are actinomorphic with bisexual, and variant number is 3 to 5, or they may be grouped. They may be either gametopelous or 3. Angiosperm number is generally 5, and the gynoecium may be vary from the 2 to 3. As you can see here the floral diagram of the particular Amaranthacea, like this showing the number of the variant, that is the 5, that showing the volute estimation. Here you can see this is a free. Then the Andrewsium, they are the number is 5, and then sometimes they conate at the base. And that's why it is called as the monoadelphous. And thus, gynoecium is made up of other bicarpary, syncarpous, superior ovary, and they have a basal presentation, and the fruit is the utricle. And if you see the diagnostic characters of the family Aranthacea, generally they have a mostly herbaceous. Only few are the shrubs. The leaves generally have a opposite or alternate phyllotaxy. They have a hair on their leaves. The flowers are very small, inconspicuous, and they usually with the bract and bracteoles that are very prominent and showing. And the flowers are actinomorphic, and they are arranged in the form of a spikes or racees. So one of the characteristic there includes that is the spikes. Then the perianth is other 2 to 5 uniseriate that present in a single layer. Generally they are green or sometimes maybe colored. And then stamens, if you see, they are the free or united. They are 3 to free dithecous and thymophilous that are opposite to the perianth that is present. Then if you see the gynoecium is either bi or tricarpillary unilocular with single basal ovule presentation, and the fruit is one-seeded nutlet or utricle, you can say. So on the basis of this, you can see here the green bracts are very prominent. So you can identify this group of plant by just seeing the bract, and you can see here this is the perianth, that is the very dry in nature. That one of the characteristic of this particular plant. Here you can see the fruit. This is the gynoecium, which is made up of a tricarpillary ovary that is has the stigma trifid. So on the basis of all these, and you can see one of the characters that belong to the curvum, that is a comparatorpus ovule. You can see if you cut the LS, you can see the shape that the ovule is folded, that is termed as the comparatorpus. So you can identify this family by cutting the LS of the flower by its inflorescence or the number of bracts. And one of the common representative of this particular family is the Acaranthus aspera, which is growing in a wild. You can see this particular plant in the roadside in the during the summer season. So this one is the Acaranthus aspera, that you can see this showing the opposite leaves. You can see the terminal spike, which is the inflorescence, and these are the sessile flower that is have a perianth. You can see these are the perianth. These are the stamens, which is you see united at the base. They are all united with the perianth. Then you can see the bract. These are the perianth part. These are the bracteole. And if you see, this one is the single fruit here. You can see here, and here you can see the floral diagram that is have a 5 tepals, bract and bracteoles. The Angiosperm number is 5, and the gynoecium is made up of, which is showing the basal presentation. So here you can see the 5 stamens, which is united by the conate at the base, and therefore it is called as the monoadelphous. And if you see the economic importance of this particular family of Amaranthacea, it is often have some little economic importance, and the some like used as a seed, like the Amaranthus cordatus are the edible. The seeds are edible. Then the Amaranthus cruentus and Amaranthus formicatus raised as a cereals by the primitive tribes in the tropical Asia. Then the two main species like the Amaranthus viridis, Amaranthus spinosus, and Aspergillus tricolor are used as a vegetable. They are we consume as a leaf vegetable like cholai, palak. All these belong to this particular group of plant. Then many plants of this group are the medicinal, like one of the most important ones, the Acaranthus aspera, which is diuretic and purgative in nature. And the decoction of the Erua tomentosa is used to remove the swelling, and the stem and leaves of the alternate are used in the snake bite. Then the flowers and the seeds of Digera muricata are given for the urinary discharge in case of a. So the many plants are have a medicinal importance of this particular family. Then if you see the next, that is the some plant are also used as a dye yielding plant like Bossia amhistiana that yield the black dye. Then fruit jaws of Diringia is a substitute of a red ink. Then many plants are used as a grow as a weeds in the side of the roads like Amaranthus, Celosia, Digera, Acaranthus, Gomperena. Many plants are grow as a weed in the soil. Then some plants are also ornamental of this particular family like the Celosia, Comparina globosa. They are all cultivated as the ornamental plants in the garden. So that's all about the Amaranthaceae family. Hope you will identify it just because you can see the inflorescence, that is the spike inflorescence, and by the membranous staple or perianth. And if you see if you cut the ellipse of the flower, you will find the Campylotropous ovule. So you can identify this particular family on the basis of these characteristics. So thank you all of you for joining with me for this session. Thank you all.